Hello, welcome to The Play's the Thing. My name's Matt, and today I'm going to talk about some games that I am going to sell. Basically, it is now the 3rd of May, and at the end of this month, I am going to UK Games Expo, which is the biggest board game convention in the UK, and let's face it, I'm going to be buying some games. So I thought that I would sell some. I have sold a few games before. I have quite a lot of games. I don't even want to say how many. So I went through, I'm very fortunate, I have home and a workspace. I have my own room, so I have a lot of games at my work as well. And I've gone through games at work and decided to sell some. Mycelia is the first game that I'm going to sell. I have only had this for, I would say like 6 weeks, maybe, something like that. I played it with a friend, I played it solo. And honestly, I just seen it on YouTube quite a lot, and I wanted to try it because I'd seen it and it was in my local game shop in the centre of London. And I kind of knew what I was getting. It's fine. I think it would be great for young children and people that have never played a deck builder before. It is a deck builder. But it's not that exciting for me. Also, it has this thing that you build, that you put water droplets in and you turn it around and it fills up and it expels a die. But it's very sweet, but it actually doesn't do anything. Like, you could just roll a die, basically. But, you know, it's a lovely production. It looks really great. It's just not something that I'm going to play a lot. Also, the game I got previously from that, which was on a Game Found, I think. Yeah, I think it was Game Found, is 20 Strong. Now, 20 Strong, I have a couple of games from Chip Theory. The quality is always amazing. They're often quite expensive. And 20 Strong is a kind of attempt by them to get into a slightly cheaper market in terms of it's a small game and it plays quite big, really, for what it is. But my problem with it is that with a lot of Chip Theory games, it's just dice rolling, really. And I was having like this kind of argument with someone online about how it's very samey, and they were saying that each of the decks that you get make it completely different. And I just don't agree. It's still the same. You're still playing cards, rolling die, and it just didn't do it for me. I tried it, I've played it quite a few times, but it just doesn't give me that thrill that I want, the excitement of something happening in a game. It just didn't do it for me. So 20 Strong is going. Here's a big one. I got this game just after UK Games Expo. My friend bought it at UK Games Expo and we played it. And I liked it, probably more multiplayer. But Earth, as a solo game, again, it just didn't do it for me. I kind of get overwhelmed by Earth, I think. There are so many things you can do. And, you know, some cards kind of push you towards doing something. But it felt too much. And the solo game was just a bit overwhelming. I had to keep stopping and putting my cards down and walking away. And I just didn't find the solo game worked for me. and I don't get to play it enough with other people. Generally, I have a couple of friends that I can play like reasonably complicated board games with, and then other people who I'm generally teaching to, and Earth is just not, it doesn't really fit for me. I wouldn't want to teach it to people, or I don't think just general people would necessarily pick it up very quickly. There's a lot to think about in Earth, which is great, but the game just isn't fitting in to the things that I want. So Earth is going. Next, Barcelona. Now, Barcelona, I actually really like. And again, it comes down to the solo mode. The AI player in Barcelona is just a little bit complicated. You have to try and figure out where they're going to go by a sort of an arrow on a card, but it doesn't just follow that. There are other rules that go with that. And then putting down tracks and trains, I think it is trams, I think. It's just complicated, and it's also got quite a lot of stuff in it, so it takes a while to set up. And I just, again, didn't feel like the solo game was worth my time. It's one of those games I look at and I kind of go, shall I play Barcelona? I quite like this Euro game. And then I'm just like, oh, but the setup and the AI, I'll have to keep looking up because I can never remember exactly how it's supposed to work. And even then, I think I get it wrong. So Barcelona, I love you, but goodbye. Then we have quite an old game, and it's actually a game that I've had since I moved back to London in like 2021, and I really like it. It's Clank in Space. So it's the second Clank, I think, that came out. But I got in Space because I knew there was an app that you could play a solo sort of structure of games. And I played it. I really liked it. I recently played Clank in Space with a friend, and I had a really good time. But another friend of mine has got Clank Catacombs, and I think that's a better game. So I think if I would ever play Clank again, I probably wouldn't play through the solo sort of campaign. I'd want to play Catacombs, or I wish I could play Clank Legacy. And there were people that wanted to play Clank Legacy with me because I do love a Legacy game. But Clank in Space, I had a great time with it, but it has to go. Goodbye. The next game on my list is kind of like Mycelia a little bit. It's Flamecraft. Flamecraft is more involved than Mycelia, and it's a completely different game. There's no deck building in it. But I kind of bought this because I was in my board game shop and I saw it and I'd seen a lot about it. And the cards look cute, and the player board, it's a rollout board. It's not a board at all. It's a, what do you call it? Anyway, it rolls out. You know what I mean? It's a mat, like me, a mat. And it's fine. There's a kind of little sort of campaign playthrough again. And I started to do that, and then I went back to it, and I couldn't remember what cards I was supposed to have or what. It was all a bit complicated. The game isn't complicated, but I just, again, it's just cute, like Mycelia, and it didn't really click with me, and I just don't think I need it, and I don't think I will play it very much again. So it's time to sell Flamecraft. And the last game on this list of games from my workspace, I still have games at home, is Paladins of the West Kingdom. I actually spoke to someone today, Board Game Dave, who has a great YouTube channel, and he has been playing Paladin solo a lot. I have played it solo, but I found it quite heavy and quite complicated. But he was telling me how much he likes it. I was telling him I like Viscounts of the West Kingdom, which I have, which I'm not selling. So actually, Paladins of the West Kingdom, I probably will sell, but I am going to play through it again and see how I feel about it after I play another solo game of it. And we will see. So I will let you know about that. And then finally, 2 games, but actually 1 game. When I moved back to London, I bought the original Mage Knight and I started playing it. And at the time, I just moved back to London and COVID was still coming to an end, and I was very anxious. And I used to wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I set up Mage Knight on a desk and would get up and play it, and just play it for an hour or 2 as a kind of distraction from what was going on in the world. And then I discovered that there was the Mage Knight Ultimate Edition, and that had a card in each of the Mage Knight decks that was different, and it had all the expansions. And so I found that and bought that. And so then I had 2 editions of Mage Knight, the original box and the Ultimate Edition. And I really loved Mage Knight, but as everyone says, there's a lot. There's a lot of setup. The rule book is not great. There's a lot of text. And I don't play Mage Knight enough to remember everything. So I have to, every time I come back to it, it's like starting fresh again. And I wish I could have it on a table all the time, just playing it. But it's just not practical. So I have 2 Mage Knights, and I'm going to be selling both of them. I think it's a great game. It's a lot, and the Ultimate Edition is a huge box, and I need to find some space and downsize a little bit, so it's going to go. Mage Knight and Mage Knight Ultimate Edition, I am selling them. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tell me what games are sitting on your shelf, what's on your shelf of shame, and what games are you going to sell? Are you surprised at something that I'm selling and that I should keep? Let me know. Let me know below. Like and comment and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Okay? Bye!